it's Nigby. So from my last few videos you'll know that I've gotten into lever locks recently, and this has forced me down a route of making tools. It's one reason that I avoided lever locks for some time, because the variety of tools that you have to make is quite astounding. But one thing that put me off is one step in the process of making these well, bent nail tension tools for things like this Squire 440, and that was the silver soldering. So this video is very much concentrating on the actual act of the silver soldering. I haven't seen, there's lots of videos out there to teach silver soldering, there's lots of people that make these and have put videos out, but I don't think I've actually seen anybody show their method of silver soldering. I just hope that this helps somebody that is thinking of having a go, because I found it absolutely daunting. So the first thing is that most often these tools seem to be made with these, which is a 4-inch nail. It's made with a 4-inch nail because it's 4mm diameter, which is perfect size for a Squire 440. I just haven't had very much luck with them, but what it did do was provide me with a nice cheap medium to practice and learn some of the techniques involved. This is an early attempt at one. Didn't go so well. One of the problems that I've had with the nails is that they seem to be very soft, and I've had them bend and twist here. So after quite a bit of experimentation, I've started ordering this high silver content carbon steel. It does make them more expensive. I think that nail probably costs less than 20p, whereas this steel rod, I can only get 3 out of it, and it's £5 a length. But it does seem an awful lot stronger and nicer to work with. So very quickly, I'm not knocking the nails. As I say, other people seem to get them to work. Maybe I'm over tensioning or whatever, but very quickly, my production method is to cut a length of the rod. I then use it to size up to the biggest, deepest padlock that I've got, which is this Squire Defiant here. That then gives me the length that's required on the turnover. I've found it easier to then file the flat, leaving the round portion at the end, because it enables me to drill on the flat and get it nice and centered, and my drill doesn't skate around so much as trying to drill on the outside edge. Lots of people have got different methods of this, and so I'm very much leaving this being simple hand tools, filing, hammering. Most people, or I felt I could get my head around that quite easily. It was the silver soldering that I found the most daunting. So with all that said, I think we're now ready to go into my silver soldering process. So yeah, quite a long-winded video again, as mine normally are. So okay, I'm going to launch into the recorded videos now of the actual the silver soldering. Hopefully somebody will find it gives them confidence to give it a go. It's filed up to the shape that I want it to be. But before I drill the hole, what I need to do is really clean this up a lot. What I find is if I silver solder with a lot of file marks still left in there, then all of the oxide and whatever gets into the grooves. So I spend quite a bit of time at this point just sanding this down so that it's really nice and smooth. All the file marks have disappeared, and then I can drill it. And this is good prep as well for the silver soldering, because you've got to be absolutely spotless for the silver solder. So I'm just going to carry on doing this now and get it nice and smooth. Okay, so that's cleaned up. Let's see if we can get some focus on there. Clean up nicely. I've drilled the hole in. Now when I drill the hole, what I do is I don't let the drill press all the way through, so it leaves these burrs of metal, and then I can just close those up, and when I put the upstand in, that grips the upstand ready for silver soldering. So I'm going to get myself set up to that point and then we'll come back. This is the 2mm piano wire that I'm going to use for the upstand, and absolutely get it clean and bright to insert into the hole. Everything has got to be spotless. for your silver soldering. So literally just sand it with the emery cloth and try and keep your fingers off it after you've done that, because even fingerprints can stop the silver solder from flowing. Okay, next step coming up. At this point, this is where I wind the silver solder onto the upstand. So just gripping it, you can't see, gripping it with my thumb, and I do 1, 2, 3, and with the bit that's left over there is plenty enough, so that can be cut off now. So that's just nicely wound tight around the upstand into a little spring-like arrangement. Okay, I'm going to cut that off and come back. Okay, so that's all set up now for silver soldering. I'm going to see if I can get a good angle on it. So I've got the upstand just lightly tapped through, because I don't drill all the way through at this point here. Everything holds nice and tight. It's nice and get the angle, it's nice and vertical in all dimensions. The silver solder is just pushed down to the bottom, so I'm going to get this set up on the vise ready for soldering now. Okay, so the piece is in the vise at a slight angle, so all the solder flows into the V corner that I cut there. The silver solder is in there. You've got the flux coating the work, which is the upstand, and the whatever this piece is called, the 90-degree piece, and the silver solder. So at this point we're going to bring some heat in, and hopefully we'll see if this works. So just let my torch settle down a little bit, get nice and hot, and I'll try not to burn my camera at the same time. So what you're doing first off is you just burn off the silver solder. That forms a nice oxide layer, and you use that, just get the heat all around the work. Okay, and then we'll concentrate the heat into the workpiece. Keep it moving all the time. And at this point we should start to see the silver solder start to melt. And we'll keep the heat on where we want the silver solder to go. Looking about perfect. So I hope that is what you're doing. First off is you just burn off the silver solder. That forms a nice oxide layer, and you use that, just get the heat all around the work. Okay, and then we'll concentrate the heat into the workpiece. Keep it moving all the time. At this point we should start to see the silver solder start to melt, and we'll keep the heat on where we want the silver solder to go. Okay, and that's looking about perfect. So I hope that has filmed, because obviously the camera is facing the wrong way for me. I maybe just stuck my face in there. So right, next we're going to clean that up and see how it comes out. So at this point all I've done is just size it up so that it will go into a 440 keyway. I've not cleaned anything up as yet, it's still rough as anything, but it will now go into the keyway, but it is still too long to turn. It's stopping turning at that position, so I just need to take a little bit off with the grinder and keep doing that until it just catches. So I'll carry on. That's just gone to the point that it will now turn, and that's the position that you're looking for. to tension the bolt on the 440. So let's turn that off, and I shall now start the clean-up process of the tool. As you can see, it's not exactly pretty looking at the moment. Actually, what I forgot to add is that at this point, before I start cleaning it up at all, I've got to test the tool. It's at the position that it goes in the 440, and that's it. So I'm going to pick this 440, I'm going to pick it both ways just to make sure that the tool is strong and holds up before I waste any more time cleaning it up. Not going to subject you to me picking, but yeah, just forgot to mention. So this is the end result of all that work. Let's see if we can keep this in focus. So that is the upstand silver soldered on. I'll keep moving around. I'll maybe be able to zoom in when I edit this video together. Really nice and upright from that dimension and that dimension. The silver soldering, because of the angle that I solder it at, flows very nicely. Because the liquid is a metal, the metal is a liquid, it pools very nicely in that corner there, and produces a really strong joint. There you go. That's my tool made. I finished them with this 9mm ball finale. It just stops the rough edge of the metal on the bottom, and if nothing else, it just makes them look a little bit nice. Let's just take some of that zoom off so that you can see it. So yeah, I'm really quite proud of that. When you look at that compared with, this is the other reason that I don't like the nails. They are so short that you end up with a really small tool. With this one, you can adjust your fingers along the length of it. You find that my finger rests very nicely just on the end of the ball there, and you can get as much leverage as you want to on there, to the point where you could very easily break these tools, as I say. So I think that, compared with my first attempts, is pretty good. So yeah, silver soldering in terms of this one single joint, I think I've got it quite good. Just not getting the focus on there. As I say, I'll try and that's it. So yeah, really proud. Okay, I hope that helps somebody to have an attempt.